When I'm working with my catering clients, we're often working on selling more and profiting more. And one of the places that you can find hidden profits is when you're spending more than you should be on your food and supplies. So I invited an expert on this, good friend of mine, to talk about this and show you, caterers, how you can profit more by finding those hidden profits. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg, speaker, author, sales trainer, website reviewer, here to help you in your wedding and event business sell more, profit more, and have more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Welcome to the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. Thanks so much. This is one of my special dialogue bonus sessions, and I brought in a very good friend today, Trip Wheeler from SB Value. Trip, how you doing today?
Everybody. Good to see you, Alan.
So Trip and I met at the Cater Source Conference, and we got to talking about, what he does and what I do. So my thing is about helping people sell more, profit more, have more fun doing it. And Trip's business is about saving you money to help you profit more. And I'm like, well, we have something in common here. We got to talk about profit. But we do it in two different ways. So selling more is one way to make more money. I talk about raising prices, another way you can make more money, because profit is what it is. Trip, you and I talk about that. Not what you make, what you keep.
Yep.
Right? But what you help people do is learn how to control their costs in a way that doesn't affect your outcome, doesn't affect the products that you produce, right? Whether it's packaged goods, which is really not what a lot of people are doing. They're doing buffets, plated catering, stuff like that, but also supplies and things like that. So just real quick, just give a quick thing about what you do. Just give me the elevator pitch.
It's incredibly simple, Alan. Big companies get a better price on things because they spend more money. It's called leverage. Coca-Cola buys sugar cheaper than you and me because they buy billions of pounds of sugar every year. If you bought billions of pounds of sugar, you'd get the same price Coca-Cola does. We do the same thing by grouping companies together and creating leverage. So we have 23,000 companies. Some are as big as $100 million a year in spend, the U.S. Army, down to a small caterer that might spend $25,000 a year. We bundle all of them together into $7 billion in leverage. We simply use that leverage to negotiate you better prices, and we extend those prices to our clients. That's it.
Right. So common sense. If you buy more, you can get a better price.
Correct.
That's what it is.
If you spent $7 billion, you'd get those prices without us.
Right. So
but nobody spends $7 billion.
No.
Yeah.
But the U.S. Army spending $100 million, but they're part of this group spending $7 billion, so they even get a better price. Right. I had a DJ the other day was telling me that he got together with another DJ and they both bought this lighted dance floor, but because they bought 96 panels instead of 48 each, they got a better price. So it's the same idea there. So what we want to talk about today is the hidden profits. Right? These are hidden profits. And you had said something, we had a call the other day about how if somebody makes $10,000 more in profit by saving money on their supplies and their food, in order to make $10,000 in profit, if they sold more, they'd have to do what? Probably $40,000, $50,000.
I mean, typically on the catering business, a third is profit. So if you do 90 grand in your revenue, you'll make another $30,000, give or take. It could be 20%, it could be 40%.
Right.
But yeah, you have to make 100 grand in revenue, 90 grand revenue to make 30 grand in profit.
Right. And do all those other events and have all that other stuff.
You have to manage the event, you have to sell the event, insure the event, everything.
So somebody joined, these are called group purchasing organizations.
Yes,
and the one that you have it's in the US.
Yes, sir.
Are there others like this around the world?
There are. The one we're with is called Premier, and it is the one that is the best for caterers. It is the biggest, so it has the best leverage, but also it's so big, you can buy any mayonnaise, any ketchup, any mustard, anything. We don't want you to force you to buy a certain mayonnaise or mustard. And so when you go with a smaller GPO, they're going to say, yeah, we get you mustard, but it has to be this brand. Well, I don't want that brand. I want Heinz. And that's ours. You can buy any mayonnaise or mustard, and you save money on everything.
So a group purchasing organization, which is not just food type stuff like this. There are things like this for other things around the world, other kinds of companies.
HVAC units. I mean, everything you see at a high school, college, hospital, Army base is all bought through a GPO.
They're buying that way. So if people are listening in other countries, they could look into something like this as well. And there were others like that. And there were, for specific niches, I'm sure there were ones just like this. So what would you say is the biggest obstacle of someone who's listening right now and they've been buying from the same supplier for a number of years and they've been buying the same stuff and the same brands for a number of years? What's the biggest obstacle of somebody going to a GPO from doing what they're doing?
Change. Fear.
Okay.
We all do it. I mean, you and I are, both kind of car guys. We were talking about, car sales in the background, and your family was a Chevy family, and my family was a Ford family. And I've owned Chevys, but I've owned more Fords just because. But
habit. It's habit.
That's all it is.
It's habit. So the change is hard.
Yep.
Fear of change.
Correct.
I think what's different about this though is if I changed Chevy dealers, I'm still getting a Chevy.
Correct.
Right? But if you said change me from a Chevy to a Ford, or from a Ford to a Chevy, or to a Dodge, or whatever, that's a different kind of change.
It is.
So what you're talking about here is I could get my Heinz ketchup,
correct,
and still get my Heinz ketchup, but just pay less for it.
Correct.
Right. And every dollar, and I've said this, every dollar you raise your prices without giving any more is profit you make. Yep. Every dollar you discount your prices without taking anything away is profit you gave away.
Right.
What we're talking about here is delivering the same meal using the same ingredients, but costing you less money.
Correct. That's it. It's the exact same ketchup. It's the same mustard. It's the same chemical, just for less money.
So didn't your dad have a saying about this? What was it?
Yeah, when we started this, he was like, I mean, we'd been at it for a little while. And he's like, you make money when you buy.
I love it.
It took me a second to go, he's right. You buy the sugar for $1 and you sell it for $2, you make $1. You pay $1.50, you only make 50 cents. You can't charge more than what you can charge. Right. You can pay less.
Right. And paying less, getting the same stuff. So whether somebody is part of a GPO and not part of a GPO, what are some of the ways that they could look to save on their costs?
Do the same thing we're doing.
Okay.
Go look at what you buy. Price that with as many distributors as you can in your market, and use that information against them. The first thing, Alan, what you want to do is what's called a fixed price markup schedule. So that if you're using Benny Keith now, ask them for a fixed markup schedule, let's say it's 7%. That way you can compare the mayonnaises and the ketchups, because what happens is if you don't have a fixed schedule, they'll hide profit. They'll make some profit, 50%, but on your beef, they'll make it 0. So your beef looks really good, but you're not paying attention to your mayonnaise, whether they're making 50% profit on you, or your paper is historically bad, disposables are historically bad, chemicals are bad. They hide a lot of profit in that stuff. So get a fixed markup schedule, get as many prices from as many distributors as you can on the exact same items, and then just compare the bottom price. It doesn't matter if you get 1 or 2 products for free. The idea is to spend not 100 grand, but 80 grand. And what salespeople are trained to do is to get you focused on the 3 or 4 items, get you great prices on those things, and then they kill you everywhere else. You want to look at the total price of the basket of goods.
So it's a little bit of the shell game. You're paying attention to the items that you care about the most. You're not seeing where it's costing you on the other side there. Yeah, I had a few customers that I referred to you, and I did this because some people that I know in the industry, just very well-known caterers, are part of this GPO. I was like, okay, all right. If these people are part of it, they've checked this out, they've vetted it. And so one of my clients was doing, I think it was about $130,000 or so, and you saved him 21% on his costs. Yes, so 21% is like $27,000 a year. A year. Now that's profit.
Doing nothing.
Doing nothing.
What he's buying, just a better price.
Same stuff. Another one was doing about $200,000, and you saved her 25%. What would you say is the average you've been doing? You have a lot
16,
of
17%. It depends.
16, 17%.
16 is average on everything.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's
and
crazy.
It's real money. I mean, our average caterer is about 150 grand. So the average savings is about 24 grand per client. And what I try to tell my clients is, if you do nothing but do this for 10 years, you'll have $250,000 in the bank.
But just again, these days, when especially after last year, to have make in profit another $20, $25, $30,000 just by doing what you're doing. And this year you could actually be more, because now all of a sudden we're going to have the busiest wedding year that we've had.
22 is going to be gangbusters.
22 is going to be gangbusters. And this just goes on and on. So a lot of the hidden profits you said is, what is it called? Downline or
yeah, like down invoice.
Down invoice.
Typically, here's the amazing thing, Alan. A caterer buys around 150 to 200 items a week. So think about this. If I go buy gasoline, I bought gasoline yesterday. It was $2.89. Well, if I go buy gas tomorrow, I can compare it to $2.89. But if I bought 200 items yesterday, I don't remember what they all cost. So if I go see milk and it's $2.89, I don't know did I pay $3.09? Did I pay $3.89? Did I pay $1.50? There's no way, unless you have a full-time buyer, to negotiate on 200 items. It's impossible. And we do that for them.
So you do the comparison.
We do.
Item for item. Item for item. I remember very often I'll be walking through the grocery store and my wife will give me a list, right? And she'll say, okay, go get this. And I'm just going to buy what she says, right? I'm just going to buy what she says. I'm not even going to look at the prices. Yeah. If my wife says, hey, go buy this, I'm going to buy it. That's why I'm happily married. Right? We're happily married guys. We're happily married guys. But you're right. I look at the prices and it's not something that it stays at the front of my head, because I go to the grocery store, I'm going to buy what I'm going to buy, right? Yeah. I don't want to then go to another grocery store and then go down the road. Same with gas. Costco has the best gas prices for me, right? But I have to drive kind of, 10 miles to go to Costco. Yeah. So then you start thinking, okay, well, my car gets, let's just say 20 miles to the gallon. I got to drive there and back. So now I'm going to spend a gallon of gas to go get gas. Did I really save anything?
Yeah.
Did I really save? But here, the food's getting delivered, right?
You're exactly right. And it's all free. Exactly right.
Right. So now, if somebody has a local beef supply, right, organic, grass-fed, you just stay with them. You don't have to buy everything.
But, that whole farm-to-table thing is such a big deal now that we totally work around that. So if your brother runs the beef yard, keep buying from your brother. If your sister runs the produce yard, buy from your sister. You got to keep your catering company intact in the sense that whatever you say, if I'm farm to table, you got to be farm to table. And then you buy everything else. You can buy your oils and your butters and your plastic bags and all that stuff from us. You're not going to buy local chemicals, but still buy your beef and your poultry and your seafood locally. It's perfectly fine.
Right. And is this only for like food and supplies, or is it also like
everything
equipment?
in your kitchen? But we also have kitchen equipment. We have way more than, I don't want to bore everybody today, but if it's in your kitchen, we got flatware, but I mean, everything in your kitchen. Everything you buy from a big distributor, or even a Costco, or even a Restaurant Depot, or those kind of people, we have everything they have. Now,
is this? Do you have to be a certain size caterer to join a GPO?
Nope.
Right, and is this for all GPOs?
No, some GPOs are bigger. They do that since Premier's so big, they can allow smaller folks in this thing. But for us, it's anybody. The only really minimum in this thing, Alan, is a $350 drop size, which is by industry standards is incredibly low. As long as you order $350, they'll deliver it to you.
Yeah, if you're having a couple of parties on the weekend,
a case of steaks is $350. Right. And if you're low, just throw some paper towels in there.
Right. Guaranteed you're going to be spending that over there. And then obviously there's no such thing as too big if the U.S. Army's there spending $100 million a year. So the idea, if you're not part of a GPO, and again, if you're listening in another country, you want to look into a group purchasing organization, you certainly want to be looking at your costs, because those are where your profits are just flying away and you're not even seeing it.
You're giving your profit to your food broker.
Right. You're giving it to the food broker. And then so...
It's yours. Keep it.
So this is like raising your prices without raising your prices.
Correct.
That's what it is, right?
Or gaining 2 or 3 clients without having to gain 2 or 3 clients.
And without having to do the parties, without having to do any of that kind of stuff like there. So if somebody is in the U.S., so Alaska and Hawaii also?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Okay, so anywhere in the 50 states, Puerto Rico?
No, just
not Puerto Rico. Okay, so
we're working on that though. And we're working on Canada right now too, but we're not.
Right. Well, you did. I don't believe you did Alaska and Hawaii when I first started.
No, we didn't. That's been added. Yep.
Excellent. So if somebody is interested, how would they get a hold of you to have you do that comparison for them, which is free, by the way, right?
I can just give you my cell phone and my email. My email is trip with 1 P, like falling down, trip at wegrowvalue.com. And my cell phone is 704-904-9000.
And I'll put this into the show notes if anybody has that over there. And if you are not in the U.S. and you had a question, I'm sure Trip will be more than happy.
Please call me, and I'll tell you what we do so you can do it over there.
Right. The idea is I want to help people sell more, profit more. You want to help people profit more and have great events. And again, just looking at what you did for my clients, it just blew me away when I'm hearing numbers like 16% being an average. Think about saving 16%. And bigger companies, the bigger the company is, the more you're going to save. And that's just profit. That's profit, right?
So
fantastic. So Trip, thank you so much for joining me today.
Pleasure to be here always, man.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. Full transcripts of this and every episode are available on my website at alanberg.com. And if you have any questions about anything in this episode or any of the episodes, or you'd like to make a suggestion for a future topic or a guest for one of my dialogue episodes, you can email me directly at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com. Please subscribe to this channel, post a review if your platform allows it, and if you don't get email updates of the latest episodes, as well as upcoming workshops and masterclasses that I have, you can join at connectwithalanberg.com. I look forward to seeing you on a future episode. Thanks.